All right, folks, we got ourselves some crazy breaking news here. Jay-Z has been named in a lawsuit that was refiled against Sean Diddy Combs. You know, Diddy. Jay-Z is being accused of R-wording a 13-year-old girl about 24 years ago, back in the year of 2000. Crazy stuff here for a multitude of reasons. Number one, you had a lot of people when the Diddy stuff came out. There were so many rumors for the last year, at least, that Jay-Z had been doing some of this stuff too. Jay-Z was involved in a lot of this stuff. Jay-Z's eventually going to go down. There are so many people on the internet who predicted that eventually they are going to go after Jay-Z. Eventually the lawsuits are going to come. And a lot of people say that Jay-Z is just as dirty, just as guilty, just as disgusting as Diddy. These are not my words. These are just the words of people on the internet. And it really came to pass. You know, you talk about speaking stuff into existence. It really happened. So Jay-Z is now being sued. Let's read some of the article on NBC. Jay-Z, the star rapper and entrepreneur, whose real name is Sean Carter, was accused in a lawsuit Sunday of R-wording a 13-year-old girl in 2000, allegedly along with Sean Diddy Combs. The anonymous accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, said the assault happened after she was driven to an MTV Video Music Awards after party. The federal lawsuit was originally filed in October in the Southern District of New York, listing Combs as a defendant. However, it was refiled Sunday to include Carter. One of the things that I think will be interesting is it will be interesting to get some sort of statement as to why he wasn't named back in October. We're going to get to Jay-Z's statement in a minute. But based on the fact that this exact same lawsuit that was already filed in October and did not include Jay-Z's name, but is now including it, does kind of give a little bit of leeway to the possibility that they were trying to extort Jay-Z behind the scenes. Because let's remember, a lot of these lawsuits, and I'm just being honest here, I'm not saying he did or didn't do it. I'm just giving you the reality of a lot of these lawsuits. A lot of these lawsuits, there are extortion efforts that take place behind the scenes with these celebrities. Whether they did it or not, there are a lot of games that get played where behind the scenes, it's kind of like what Cassie did, right? Well, I'm not saying that Diddy didn't do it, but before Cassie filed the lawsuit, we all know that she went to Diddy and she said, I want X amount of money. And if I don't get it, I'm putting this lawsuit out. Diddy didn't expect that lawsuit would get the attention that it got. So he said, screw you. I'm not paying you, whatever. She goes ahead and does it. I would not be surprised if something similar happened to Jay-Z. As a matter of fact, he already kind of hinted at it and said that is what happened. But let's continue to read some of this article. So it says here, Texas-based attorney Tony Buzbee, who filed the suit, did not comment. These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree? Carter said in a statement to NBC News. I mean, he's right about that. I can't lie. He's right about that. If what you're saying about him is so bad, and it is, then you should file a criminal complaint. I agree. Now, I don't know what the statute of limitations are. Maybe he's playing again. I don't know. But let's just keep reading. So it says here, Buzbee has filed several lawsuits in recent months. We'll get to Buzbee in a minute. I really want to get to the allegations of what they actually said. So here it is. This is what the lawsuit actually says. It says the lawsuit says that a friend dropped her off at the VMAs in Radio City Music Hall. She did not have a ticket. She approached various limousine drivers trying to gain access, blah, 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 blah. One driver told her that he worked for Combs and that she fit what Diddy was looking for. He invited her to a party after the show and told her to return to his car later in the evening after he transported Carter and Combs, the suit says. Later, the driver picked her up, and after 20 minutes, they arrived at a White House with a U-shaped driveway. She had to sign a document she believed was a non-disclosure agreement on arrival and did not receive a copy to enter the party, which the suit said was filled with celebrities and people doing marijuana and cocaine. She was offered a drink that made her feel woozy, lightheaded, and felt like she needed to lie down, and she went into a room to rest. Shortly afterwards, the suit says Combs and Carter entered the room with Combs saying you were ready to party. That's when she alleges that Sean Carter, Jay-Z, removed her clothes, held her, and R-worded her while Combs and an unnamed female celebrity watched. She says Combs also R-worded her as Carter and the woman looked on. The suit says that she was able to resist being forced to perform, you know what, going down low on Combs by hitting him, blah, 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 blah. So obviously very graphic stuff. I don't have to read this entire thing. Very graphic stuff. Now, Jay-Z released a statement through Roc Nation, which is his company, and he released a statement kind of refuting what they said. And here's the full statement. My lawyer received a blackmail attempt, called a demand letter from a lawyer named Tony Buzbee. What he had calculated was the nature of these allegations and the public scrutiny would make me want to settle. No, sir. It had the opposite effect. It made me want to expose you for the fraud you are in a very public fashion. So no, I will not give you one red penny. These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree? These alleged victims would deserve real justice if that were the case. This lawyer, who I've done a bit of research on, seems to have a pattern of these type of theatrics. I did some research on this lawyer too, and I got to be honest, Jay-Z is right. This lawyer seems to kind of participate in this stuff quite often. This is kind of how this guy makes his money, the Tony Buzbee guy. We'll get to him in a minute. The statement says, I have no idea how you have come to be such a deplorable human, Mr. Buzbee, but I promise you, I have seen your kind many times over. I'm more than prepared to deal with your type. You claim to be a Marine. Marines are known for their valor. You have neither honor nor dignity. My only heartbreak is for my family. My wife and I will have to sit our children down, one of whom is at the age where her friends will surely see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims and explain the cruelty and greed of people. I mourn yet another loss of innocence. Children should not have to endure such at their young age. It is unfair to have to try to understand inexplicable degrees of malice meant to destroy families and human spirit. My heart and support goes out to true victims in the world, blah, 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 blah. You have made a terrible error in judgment, thinking that all celebrities are the same. I'm not from your world. I'm a young man who made it out the projects in Brooklyn. We do not play these types of games. We have very strict codes and honor. We protect children. You've seen exploit. Okay, blah, blah, blah. If not for the serious surrounding harm to kids will be laughable. I look forward to showing you just how different I am. Okay, so Jay-Z with some threats there. And let's go back to the top because I really do want to put this into perspective. I don't want this to just be one of those videos where I just say the news, which everybody can read. I kind of want to give some perspective here because I got to be honest here. This lawyer really does have a history of doing this kind of stuff. So Jay-Z basically says, he says, my lawyer received a blackmail attempt called a demand letter. So what happened was, and I guess this is why the lawsuit wasn't filed in October. It got filed now because what they did was they said, we're going to send you a demand letter, which basically we're demanding you pay a certain amount of money or we're going to make this lawsuit public. Jay-Z and the guy probably went back and forth for months. Jay-Z said, you know what, screw this. This is unfair. It really is unfortunate because it's a lose-lose situation for these celebrities, especially because what this lawyer is also doing is a lot of these lawyers realize the climate that we're in right now. So I pretty much knew that you were going to see a lot of these sorts of lawsuits come out against other people because they're trying to take advantage of the current climate we're in, where everybody's kind of on edge. Everybody's really upset at Diddy, where people are already upset at people like R. Kelly and Bill Cosby went to jail and Harvey Weinstein and all those different things. So, you know, there's a lot of anger built up in the public and there's already a lot of hate and scrutiny for Jay-Z. Jay-Z already has a lot of hate. There are already a lot of people on the internet who already think that Jay-Z's guilty, even though we haven't seen any ounce of proof of it. So this lawyer simply taking advantage of that. So the lawyer basically comes out and tries to give Jay-Z to give him money. Jay-Z doesn't do it. So now I released this lawsuit, which obviously everybody knows is going to be national news, which it is. NBC News is reporting on it. And so Jay-Z said this here. He said, this lawyer, who I've done a bit of research on, seems to have a pattern of these type of theatrics. And you know what? Jay-Z's right about that. Let me go ahead and pull up this article right over here. So this is an article on the Tony Buzbee guy. So you may ask, who is Tony Buzbee? Tony Buzbee is basically a lawyer who, I guess, you know, grew up poor, raised in a small town, whatever. And he made a name for himself by basically going after celebrities and winning. He honestly, he wins. That's the crazy part. He really does win. So I'll show you some of his history right here. He was involved in a, you know, legal thing with the politician, Texas Attorney General named Ken Paxton. He was involved in that. But here's the celebrity stuff. Do you guys remember when Deshaun Watson got sued by like 30 women because they said that whenever they would give him massages or whatever they were doing in the training room or whatever, he would, like, you know, assault them sexually and all those different things? It was like 30 women. The lawyer behind all 21 of those people's lawsuits was this exact same lawyer that is filing this lawsuit against Jay-Z. It's this Tony Buzbee guy. So he was involved in that. He was also apparently, he won in 2021. He filed a lawsuit and he won a $41 million jury verdict for the family of a man who died from a spider bite while aboard a ship. So, yes, this lawyer is good. He normally wins. He also filed, do you guys remember the situation that happened with Travis Scott a few years ago? There was like a stampede or something, or I don't remember what happened, but something crazy happened where a bunch of people died at a Travis Scott concert. Well, there was a $700 million lawsuit that got filed against Travis Scott because of all that stuff and all the victims and all the people who died and everything like that. Well, this lawyer was behind that as well. And then also, there's several lawsuits where 120 individuals are alleging sexual misconduct against Sean P. Diddy Combs, and this lawyer is behind that as well. So what Jay-Z is basically saying is, what this lawyer does is, and there's a few lawyers that do this, they find victims. Again, I don't know if these people are guilty or not. I don't know if these victims are honest or not. I have no idea. But what they do is find these victims who may or may have not been assaulted in the past, and they basically say, okay, well, I believe you, and even if you're wrong or not, whatever, it's going to create bad press for them. So what we're going to do is we're going to send them a demand letter. We're going to try and get some money out of them, and we can settle this privately. And if it doesn't happen, then we're going to file a lawsuit, in which case the negative publicity is going to be so bad they're probably going to end up settling anyway, because that is typically how these lawsuits end. If you look at the Deshaun Watson lawsuit, he settled. You could go Google that, look that up. He settled that lawsuit. I don't know if Travis Scott settled, but a lot of these lawsuits get settled. Like Michael Jackson had lawsuits against him for this type of stuff. He settled. R. Kelly had lawsuits against him for this type of stuff. He settled. Same thing with Bill Cosby. Typically, these people settle because you all know lawsuits can drag on for a very long time. So what happens is you get bad publicity for so long, and the media has to constantly cover it because of whatever new updates happen in the lawsuit. It creates so much bad publicity. The celebrity gets to the point, whether they did it or not, where they just want it to go away. And the celebrity is like, okay, well, whether I did it or not, if all I have to do is settle the case and pay this person money to go away, leave me alone, the news can stop covering it, I will do it. These are the games that get played in the legal system, and this really is a thing. So Jay-Z is saying, I'm refusing to settle. I am going to fight. I don't know. I mean, the best way I could put this is, if you truly didn't do it, then I guess I understand. I mean, obviously, I guess I would say it's a good idea. But then again, I really don't know, because unfortunately for Jay-Z, the public really is against him. That's the vibe that I get. Like, you could go on Twitter right now, go on Twitter, type in the search box Jay-Z and see what pops up. You're going to see a lot of people who are like, I knew it. I knew he was guilty. I knew he did that. And I think a lot of that is fueled by Jay-Z's past, because remember, Jay-Z met Beyonce when she was like 17 years old. Like 17, 18 years old. She was very, very young. They started dating in like 1999 or something, or like 2001. I think it was 2001, because I remember when they started dating, because I was a kid. I remember they started dating around the time when Crazy in Love came out, which was a good song. But when they started dating, I remember people were like, wait a minute, Beyonce's 19 years old and Jay-Z's 31. This is kind of weird. It's legal, but it's kind of weird. Also, Jay-Z has close ties with a lot of these people who later went on to have some very disgusting allegations about them. Some of them are in jail right now, like R. Kelly. Jay-Z has a whole collab album with R. Kelly. It's a good album. It's good music. But obviously R. Kelly is a terrible person, and, the P word and all that stuff. And Jay-Z made a collab album with this guy, hung out with this guy on numerous occasions. Obviously, there's rumors about Jay-Z and Aaliyah. Jay-Z's been in the industry for a long time, and for whatever reason, people just, I don't know what it is. Jay-Z was very well liked for most of his career, and then all of a sudden, after like 2022 or whenever all these allegations started to come out, people immediately just started disliking Jay-Z and started saying, we really think Jay-Z's guilty. If you remember the Piers Morgan thing, Piers Morgan had somebody on the show named Jaguar Wright, who used to be on a bunch of Jay-Z songs. She was like a backup singer or whatever. She did the vocals on a lot of Jay-Z's music, like Heart of the City and stuff like that. She went on Piers Morgan's show, and she said that Jay-Z is just as bad as Diddy and all this other stuff, and Jay-Z threatened to sue Piers Morgan. And at that time, there wasn't any substance to it, because there hadn't been any lawsuits fired. It was just rumors. So Piers Morgan kind of backed down. But now that there's a lawsuit, I suspect that some of these people like Jaguar Wright and some of these other people are going to now be platformed because of everything that happened. Anyway, I said all I had to say. I just wanted to kind of give the dynamics of everything and give my piece on this. This is a very interesting situation. Let me know in the comments if you think Jay-Z is guilty or not, if you think Jay-Z did some of these horrible things, and let me know what you think will happen. If you want my honest opinion, I think he'll end up settling. I do. I just do. I don't know, because here's what scares me, and I'm not saying scares me like I'm worried about him, because I don't know him. It doesn't matter to me. Like, I don't know if he did or not, but what I'm saying is there could be more lawsuits that follow, because once one person sues, next thing you know, all these other people who may or may not have been assaulted or whatever, they start filing lawsuits. And if you start to see 4, 5, 6 lawsuits against Jay-Z, and then somebody releases some damning video like they did with Diddy, this can get really, really ugly. So anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.